What's up, family? What's up? Running late again, running late again. Let me see. Let me see. Let me just adjust stuff so I get everything popping off proper like, proper like. I see the hat once again. The Know Thyself, the Know Thyself hat. Got it up, popping, man. All right, all right. So yeah, I know I'm late. I know I'm late, but I got some breaking news. Breaking news. Man, listen, 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 listen. Hold on. Let me sit down my black suit. So, man, I'm sitting around searching on. I ain't really searching. Not really interested. But anyway, I heard about this meeting yesterday that the government had to sound like one of my one of my first grade classrooms. Um, so we get word about this meeting, and I got a little copy of the transcript. Hold on. I want to read a little bit of transcript. Before I do that, let me welcome you to the Congregation of the Mighty. This is Gye-Nyame Journey Media. That's right, girl. She up, she ready. Of course, you know this is a Heart of a Simple production. This is the Daily Toast. We strive to blow up your old paradigm. Already running late. Family. Got a copy of the transcript. Hold on. Got a copy of the transcript. And I just want to share what I got. So according to what I'm reading, it says that Donald Trump walked into the room. I'm just trying to go through and paraphrase. And he offered everybody candies like Butterfingers, Snickers, M&Ms with peanuts. And he started the meeting. He said, I know some of y'all got peanut allergies, but we here to overcome our differences. Okay. That's kind of dangerous, but I hear him. So everybody start digging into the candy, and he looks right at Nancy Pelosi, and he says, Nancy, will you give me my wall? She says, Mr. President, I will not. He looks directly back at her and says, bitch, give me my candy, and gets up and walks out the room. Oh my God, we got third grade, we got first, second, and third grade shenanigans going on in the White House. Oh, shouts out to Miss Tiandra. Let's go get this song on real quick and get we're gonna sing the whole song. We'll sing just enough. Drink your water. Come on. Drink your water, but first, take your breath and drink your water. Take a breath and drink some water. Take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath and drink. Or should we say, breathe, then drink. Lift your glass and get some water. Get your bottle of some water. Crack the cap on that water. Now pour your water. Drink. Or should we say, lift or then drink. Now move your body and drink some water. Move your body and drink some water. Let your body get some water. Just Move your body. Drink, 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 drink. Or should we say, move, move, then drink. Man, all right, here we go. Now raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Now raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Now raise your glass and toast your ancestors. Now raise your glass. Drink, 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 drink. Or should we say, raise, toast, then drink. That's something right there, family, because you know we already behind. You know, man, I'm telling you that tub is just that tub you calling me. You know, and you know what? And I'm trying. I have to go on and stay on Facebook for a little while, Instagram, because I'm so tired. I got R. Kelly fatigue. I can't do it no more. You know, my mind's telling me no. I'm like, damn. We got this. So shouts out to I think we got brother Kwame. Great, bro. We staying behind. Yeah, man. I'm way behind. You must be talking about my lateness, my tardiness, right? I'm gonna get it back together, man. I'm gonna get it together. I'm slipping. I'm slipping. I slide in that tub, man, and it's over. I just gotta get up and take a shower. I can't do the tub. I be trying not to. You know, my mind's telling me no. You know what I'm saying? But that tub, man, is just, oh my God. So, but yeah, man. But I did get some breaking news, man. I got the transcript for what happened in the meeting. You got to go back to the beginning and check it out if you wasn't there, right? And by the way, Nancy Pelosi was eating Butterfingers. Uh, you said even Charlotte said no to the R. Kelly mess. It's getting sad. Please don't compare yourself to R. Kelly. I immediate thought. What she say? What she say? Please don't compare yourself to R. Kelly. Immediate thought. I'm sure you talked about this at some point. I'm curious of your views. Oh my God. Oh, Miss Tiandra, why? Why? I'm gonna have to cover some of it on tonight's show. By the way, we will be having tribal quotes. So of course, we'll be able to have some conversation. And I'm quite sure in some form or fashion, you know, and I'm like, uh, so we on day 55 from Gye-Nyame Journey Workbook. Oh, Miss Tiandra, you need to hook up with me. I still got your props. Um, yours and Elder Graves. All right. Day 55. There's nothing that wastes the body like worry, and one who has any faith in God should be ashamed to worry about anything whatsoever. Mohandas Gandhi's. Once again, there's nothing that wastes the body like worry, and one who has any faith in God should be ashamed to worry about anything whatsoever. Wow. The highest reward for man's toil is not what he gets for it, but what he becomes by it. That's from John Ruskin. And he that waits for a chance may wait for a long time. Nigeria. Family, tell your family and friends we're going to have a powerful conversation. And I'm quite sure R. Kelly will come up out of this shit. I'm just telling you. But Miss Tiandra, just to make it quick, I honestly believe that that many of us are missing the larger conversation, the larger problem by focusing in on R. Kelly. R. Kelly is a symptom, and many people are are running after R. Kelly as if R. Kelly is the disease. R. Kelly has always, for those of us old enough to remember, we have always known about this motherfucker. Period. You know what I'm saying? And he is a symptom of a larger problem. Now, part of the problem is the economics in our community. Part of the problem is the promiscuity on both sides of, or my fault, all three sides, or all five sides of the sexual fence that we have in our community. You know, but then a lot of times we got to always go back to the root cause of a lot of this shit, right? Um, so my views are less about him and more a look at um, us, because just like with Bill Cosby, and you know what I'm saying, it's like they try to focus all of this wrong. It's sort of like I did a show maybe last year about the scapegoat and the importance of the scapegoat and how the scapegoat was used to the relieve the community of the stress or the sin. You know what I'm saying? And it's sort of like we like doing that. We like taking people, raising them up to the altar, and then sacrifice them and feeling good about ourselves because we participated in that sacrifice. Now, Sister Tandra, I'm gonna ask everybody this, and I asked this probably on my show maybe yesterday. R. Kelly is one thing, but what we gonna do about all those individuals who knew that they was watching videos with R. Kelly, that video with R. Kelly and that little girl, and not didn't just watch it to see if that was R. Kelly and to see the young girl and then stop. No, they watched the whole goddamn thing all the way through and then watched it again. What we gonna do about all these men and some women who actually enjoyed that shit? Because that's going on too. I'm just saying. I mean, we got a lot of issues. R. Kelly is at the for me. R. Kelly is one of the bottom things. Why? Because R. Kelly can't really affect black life. Period. I'm sorry. How did I get on that? My mind's telling me no. Damn, I've been affected. It's sort of like that movie. What's that movie, Bird Box and shit? I done seen it. Now I can't unsee it and shit. Oh my God, I got the key. Oh, this R. Kelly shit is just. All right. All right, everybody drink their water. Let's get this water and get this toast on. Hmm. I guess I could let the music finish playing and drunk all the water, right? I'm backwards. But shouts out to everybody that's toasting with us this morning. We will have a magnificent show tonight if everything lines up. Cleve had a game last night, man. So I didn't even enter the day that I was supposed to enter last night. I just got home. I was just frustrated. No, they won. They won. It's just like I I'm not real good on schedules because I get to work and I do what I pose it. I do what I have to do, but I don't know schedules. I don't know what stuff going on. People be calling me, asking me. I don't know. I'm focused on what I'm supposed to be doing in that time. I have the schedules and all that and all this that's happening tonight and tomorrow. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because I got immediate things that I have to deal with when I get into school, and that's what I try to deal with. Oh, inbox me dates for flyers. Inbox me dates for flyers. Are you talking about the swap meet or are you talking about the training or both? Man, I can't wait for the Lifetime movie after this presidency. Man, this is because since they opening the gates, you know what I'm saying. I got a couple of movie ideas for their ass. You know what I'm saying. We got to get some because Lifetime expose them motherfuckers. So I can't wait to see the next one. You know what I'm saying. You know, because we got more. We got some more. You know what I'm saying. Shit. You know what I'm saying. Life of a black man without reparations. I want that Lifetime story, goddammit. Can I see that one? You know what I'm saying? Shit, mass incarceration. Can I see Lifetime? I want to see that one too. Since we telling, you know. Yeah. Let's get this toast cracking. What's up, Shaka? Alright. Now the coffee, I'm gonna sip on the coffee first without any of the stuff because this is a new blend that I am drinking. Well, it ain't a blend. I went and got some more coffee yesterday. So I want to taste the coffee so that I can know what the coffee really tastes like. Let's see. Oh man, but this ain't coffee. This is that ambrosia. Yep, it's aging well. There's something about it in the wintertime how it just slowly, it's like it's changing with the season. I wonder if the quick cold snap, you know what I'm saying? Oh man. All right, first giving honor to the creator by whatever name you choose to call that creator. We lift up our glass and we toast and we say, Ashe. Then we move to our list of our illustrious ancestors. Miles Brown, Mazan, Robin, the Tex out of Davis, Herman Brown, Singh, Rosalie Tilley. Hold on, let me lift up the glass first. Rosalie Tilley, Georgia William Walter, Chris and Fanny Gasson, Lena, Uncle Chris, Hanfine, Cleveland, Geneva Brown, Margaret Ellis, Wash Ellis, Cecil Ellis, Alvaro Brown, Jenny Gaines, Herman Brown II, Barbara Twiggs, Wash Ellis Jr., Katie Ellis, Nikki Ellis, Jamon Jones, Jeremiah Tappan, John Fallard, Montague Pittman, L. Normal, Exapet, Mara Rob, Malika Fakour, Dr. Marianne Williams, Coach Kamal, Elder Farmer, Elder Mitty Dixon, Tony Clark, Pastor Yusuf Weston, Elder Ageni, Elder Ron Coleman, Elder Robert Donaldson, Alfred Bro, Actor Jr., J. Edwards, Carlisle Harris, Grace Lundy, Inez Harris, William Bill Moss, Phyllis Rose, Sterling Lucy Wright, there, Gail Pulliam, the Luxor Brother, Miss Eda Brooks Crawley, Miss Marie Nelson, Mr. Frederick Crawley Sr., Miss Jerry Brunson, Miss Alonzo Johnson, Miss Marie McDowell, Janet Foster, Charles Jordan, Kill Smith, Walter Smith, Richard Trigg, Frank Johnson, Mary Franklin, Jimmy Williams, Daniel Ford, George Gibson, Anna Loretta Clark, Inez McCrae, Fritz Clark, Frankie Justice, Katie Justice, Derek Rennerman, Virginia Rogers, Reverend James Smith, Lois Henderson, Calvin Spratling, Mary Elizabeth Walker, Raymond Walker Sr., Sarah Jane Carter, Michael Ford Jr., Kelly D. Russell, Susie B. Smith, Teresa Clay, Melvin Dale Hodge, Melvin Dale Hodge Jr., Herman Copeland, Mildred Copeland, Jenny Clay, Bird Beatty, Sarah Welly, B. the Farmer, I go to Sue, Shell Harvey, Asha May, Evelyn, Theolis Asbury, Harvey Asbury Sr., Leonard Dickinson, T.C. Islam, Terrell Dunbar, Will Thomas, Sarah Berry, Mark Walsh, Merle B. Thorne, Pearl G. Thorne, Ida Johnson, Florence M. Carter, Joanne Thorne, Erica Tricia Lewis, Juanita Wright, Robert Wright, George Wright, Mary Eliza Frederick Davis, Mary Elizabeth Rogers, Mary Esther Keachler Reese, Linda Watson Hammonds, Jerome Johns Watson, Sparrow, Slimmy Seven Lewis, Andrew Holmes, Pearl Moore, Percy Moore, Mildred Owens, Booker T. Bolden, Charlie Hunt, Sammy Stover, Heather Pearson, Sturgeon Thornton, Richard Thornton, Lavinia Hall, Freeman Banks, Mary Marshall, Peter Peacock, Willie Thornton, Napoleon Kennedy, Mark Ramsey, Paul Ramsey, Matt Ramsey, David Ramsey, Charles E. Thornton, Frankie Quills, Urania Thornton, Bernice Quills, Ernestine Jackson, Frankie Johnson, Teresa Mormon, Leon Johnson, Charles Bell, Vivian Ramsey, S.C. Johnson, Dale Rita Johnson, Leon Johnson, James W. S. Sr., James Parham, Dana Jones, Henry World, James Farmer, Mary Chavez, Leon Grace, Bessie Johnson, Henry Investor, Mary Moreland, Paul Moreland, Elder Caleb, Rosemary Martineer, Elder Amtep Wellman, Fred Douglas Triggs Sr., Thelma Triggs, Thomas and Lula Berry, Lacey Ellen Ohio, Frank Russell Davis, Fred Douglas Triggs II, Rena Triggs, Reverend Eddie Moore, Helen Fuller, Eugene Jackson Sr., Richard Ellis, Silas Alexander, Charles Maxwell, Percy Alexander, Arthur Reynolds, Stanley Lockhart, Ricky Lockhart, William Lockhart, Woodrow Lockhart, Brenda Porter, Deacon Hargrove, Carlos Sawyer, Andrew Parker, Doris Donald, Ellis Murphy, D'Amico Russell, Diddamon Aries, Jean and Ruth Jones, Jana Callahan, William Walter West, Nigel Perez, Elder Basiji Falani, Jim Robinson, Gladys Johnson, Valerie Clark, John and Mary Sullivan, Dirk Johnson, Antonio Johnson, Delise Waters, DePretis Hines, Diana Bostic, Edna Bostic, Winifred Scantleberry, Wilson Hadley, Emma Hines, Phyllis Lee, Eugene Spratling, Calvin Spratling, Charles Wooden, Penny Brown, Roy Lee Printup Jr., Miriam Johnson, Wilbur Longmire, Edith Catney, Janice Carter, Michael Carter, Leon Pena Carter, Margaret Carter, William Carter, Lisa George, Charles Lee Mosley, Dorothy R. Blair, Ransom Evans Sr., Sam Evans Sr., Nalon Blair Sr., Edward Stevens, Sue Ann Stevens, Joe Davis, Timothy Butler, Gene Holmes, Dana Jones, Peter Charles, Christy Nichols, Cardinal Robinson, Rosemary Charles, Ada Pearl, Bob Ingalls, Jack Wallace, Warren M. Finch, Warren P. Finch, Tim Ingalls, Audrey Finch, William Billingsley Jr., Jennifer Sensabaugh, Hazel Gasson, Jerry Brantley, Brian Watson Jr., Kaniko Parsons, Jason Kathy Bradford, Thomas Bradley, also known as Uncle Buki, also known as Gypsy, Reverend Roosevelt Word the First, Stacy Trice, Frank Smith, Mother Bertha, Michael Leonard, David Brown, Ruth Carter, June Cox, Ruth Cox, Paula Cox, Ronald Irvin, Judy Hubbard, Irene Johnson, Francis Booth Jefferson, Dan Wilkinson Sr., Emma McClendon, Jerry Doyle, Amina Robinson, Mary Nichols, Patricia Williams, Shabaka Teray, Greg G2 Gibson, Donna Hill, Richard Gleaves, Lee Irby, Tommy Irby, Wood Irby, Jim Gaucher, George and Haley Johnson, Archie and Margaret Armstead, Diane Scott, Erica Armstrong, Claire Fox, Gene Evans Johnson, George and Hallie Johnson, Archie and Margaret Armstead, Diane Scott, Erica Armstrong, Claire Fox, Gene Evans, Archie Beck, Anna McGill, Charles McDaniel, Christine Cottrell, Becca, Alice Arnold, Arthur Arnold, Hattie Reed, Charles Reed, Eula and Andrew Baker, Patricia and Edwin Brooks, Gwendolyn and Bob Hatch, Kimball Vernon, Bradley Kim, Janie Harry Tubman Cates, Sister Sturgis, Sally Mae Baker, Ethel Baker, Creola Baker, Geneva Baker, Aaron Nino Baby Hatch, Hatch Sr., Melly Miller, Housie Hatch, Dad Cleveland, Mother Gibson, Alex Nixon, John Bowie, Lester and Rachel Saunders, Dorita Ross, Viola Ross, Robert Nelson, Francis Stevenson, Leroy Stokes, Lily Johnson, Fletcher Swan, Manny and Charlie Scott, Ida Casey, Thomas Kofer, Vivian Stevenson, Mona Ann Lewis, Cornetta Lyman Lewis, John Jackson, William Dallas Lewis, Mae Francis, Chappelle Jackson, Michael Slade, Joanne Perkins, Richard Jackson, Martha Ford, Martha Ford, Richard Jackson, Martha Ford Dawson, Big Mama, Nanny Harris, Eva Ford, James Harrison, Margaret Towns, Mary Williams, Leroy Q. Heath Sr., Albert Moore, Miss Manella, Alice Motley, Geraldine Elizabeth, Douglas Thompson, Erlington Houston, Lud Alls, Elijah Alls, Jerome Alls, Henry West Staten, Joe Jamel Alls, Ann Pierce, Donald Carter, Lily Green, Nathan Green, Beth Bond, John Dewey, Ruth Beard, Tim Butler, Ramey Laura Newton, J.B. Foggy, Thomas Newton Sr., Baba Naeem, Jeanette Sanders, Jerry C. Sanders, Roy Pruitt, H.J. Brantley Sr., Henry Wilson, Rufus Jenkins, Minnie Wilson, Catherine Sanders, Morel Ellis, Elizabeth Sanders, Henrietta Irby, Mildred Armstead, Margaret Armstead, Catherine Anthony, Ruby Brown, Charles Walker Sr., Charlie Walker, Cecil Russell, Diane Irvin, Haroon Phillips, William Ford, Margaret Logan, Phyllis Barnett, Lee Irvin Sr., Michael Irvin, Ozella Watson, Hugo Watson, John Caldwell Sr., Robbie Lee Caldwell, Nevaeh Mitchell, Ron McCormick Sr., Sabrina Easley, Rashawn Easley, Javea McCormick, Barbara Ann Reed, Dorothy Ann Reed, John Reed, Shackham Aha Reed Jr., John Reed Jr., Patricia Reed, Edward R. Benson Sr., Ethel H. McNair, Louis Fernandez, Jacqueline Broadus, Reginald Oliver, Mazarine Coper, George Swan, Edmonia Grayson, Charles Scott, Charles H. Scott, Michael Morgan, Charlene Morgan, Sybil Edwards McNabb, Annie Ferguson, William Ferguson, Shelby McClendon. Shots out. I need dates for both W2, WWT, and GNJ. Okay, I'll send it. Please add. Oh, yeah. I was waiting for the family, because I want to add them. Make sure you get the clearance, because I don't want You understand what I'm saying? So Miss Cynthia, go and get clearance for the family. And I gladly add it to the list. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a couple other people I want to add too. But I like the family to do their grieving. You know what I'm saying? And then if they want, I add them. You know, unless they, So, because I would love, but I'm going to give that one some time. You know. But like, if I get the okay from somebody in the family, I'm cool. Because he family, But like I said, I wait for folks to throw it up there. But we want to send shots to Elder Shaka McNair. Um, also, Leroy, Elder, the teacher who comes on sometime, Leroy Raleigh, um, also passed away. And we got one more person in the circle. Um, Brother Kwame put A. A what? All right, so we lift up all of our ancestors. All of those personal ancestors, we lift them up. We got the class up. We say our shape. From there, we move to the moment. Since we don't have a lot of time, today is Ujamaa. The color is green. Y'all see the green. I was able to find the green, right? Cooperative economics is the word. You know what I'm saying? For those that don't speak the language, today, the principle, the modern principle is reciprocity. The M7 word of the day is gratitude. The Hermetic law of the day is polarity. Male name is Yao. Female name is Yah. Or he meant Ashe. All right? So, this moment is the most powerful moment. It's the only moment. So we concentrate our power in it, make things happen, so we can build something for our children. So we lift up the glass and we say, that's right, Ashe. And then where we go from there, Brother Tim? Where we go from there, we move from there, from the present moment to the future. We toast our children, our children's children, on to infinity, right? Making sure they know that we are not only toasting them in advance, but we're working on laying a foundation for them to stand upon so that they can build their pyramids. So we say, Ashe. From there, family, we move to that selfish toast, that selfish moment toast. Come on now, it's your time. It's your time. What is it that you need in this moment to help you become more successful, more focused, or whatever, right? We lift up our glass and we say, Ashe. From there, family, where do we go? Where we go from there? After we done gave our selfish toast once again, I'm going to toast the most beautiful, magnificent, most powerful being in the room, most inspiring, right? Most faithful. I'm lifting up my glass to you. Now, don't look around. I'm talking about you right there. Yep, you. I'm lifting up my glass to you, and I'm toasting you, and I'm saying I hope that I know that you will have a magnificent day, right? So I wish you peace, power, joy, and 100 years. And with that, I say, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Let's take a sip. It's maturing like a mug. All right. So y'all know, been experimenting with the French press. Got the French press. Coffee been pretty good. Get that vacuum action going. Now, turn it around a little bit. There we go. Now I just want to taste this coffee by itself before I add any other flavors. Ooh, nothing like some good coffee early in the morning, y'all. Let's see. One love. Let me tell y'all what type it is. grounded up at Whole Foods because it seemed like Whole Foods was the only place where nobody was talking about R. Kelly. So I went to Whole Foods. It is Cafe Vital. Yeah, it's Allegro Coffee Cafe Vital, and it had, I didn't get the whole. I should have got. I have more information next time we get some coffee. All right, so let's go and sample this because I'm quite sure some African coffees that I'm gonna want to try. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all might know some people out there with some, and there's a sister that got some. I might have to get a coffee grinder too, because some black folks, a lot of black folks sell coffee. I should have added some more coffee. Yeah. Oh, maybe I didn't need to add more coffee. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right, family. Yo. So I'm gonna wish y'all a great day. And I'm up and I'm Adam. I'm about to get up out of here. Y'all have a great day. With that, I'm saying peace. You say you got it. Work with this man. You said that this man had your back, yet you tried to destroy him. Come on. Listen, even before he gets into the courts, she would have been out of school for 10 years. I'm not fooling around. Look at me, I'm sitting in the R. Kelly. God damn it. You know, just iron. Just iron. Shit, woman.
disappear in a hurry from people scavenging these. But decay, rather than pillage, was the principal enemy of Virginia houses. Land and houses rapidly declined together. When Philip Chapman, in his will, ordered his plantation sold to buy cattle for his son John after his death, it was, he said, because the land and house alike would be worn out by the time the boy came of age. Even tobacco, the colony's principal commodity, was highly perishable. Stored for a year or more, it was likely to rot, especially if in packing the leaves had been wet down to make them more pliable, or if improperly cured leaves had been included. In these early years, Virginians had not acquired the skill in packing necessary to make tobacco keep, and so most planters were eager to get it off their hands as quickly as possible. If the ships that carried it to market failed to arrive in sufficient numbers, the hogsheads left behind might be a total loss by the next season. Sometimes litigation would hold up shipments with disastrous results. One Dutch merchant lost heavily when his agent collected 17,000 pounds of tobacco from Edmund Scarberg before he had conveyance ready for it. A subsequent lawsuit further delayed shipment, so that 2 years later, in the summer of 1654, it was still packed in hogsheads in Scarberg's tobacco sheds. By that time it was so rotten that Scarberg's overseer reported he was forced to fling it away for want of room to cure our crops, nor could be no longer kept by reason of the extreme stink it yielded in the summertime. Virginia's most stable, most secure commodity was cattle. Hence, the practice of feeding cattle to children. And even cattle were by no means a short thing. Throughout the 17th century, Virginians were still collecting bounties on wolves, which may even have multiplied as a result of the introduction of cattle, and still fending off Indian poachers. The herd might be cut down by a bad winter, or by epidemic disease, or the animals might run wild beyond recovery in the woods. You could not store up cattle and forget them, like English planned, and expect to find them when you went looking. In demanding an annual accounting of orphans' cattle, the courts were guarding not merely against embezzlement, but against the neglect to destroy an inheritance overnight. Servants were Virginia's most valuable property, but also the most risky. It was noted in 1648 that servants were more advantageous than any other commodities for importation from England. The initial cost for a man for 4 or 5 years was no more in tobacco than he might make in a year. The risk came from the mortality to which servants were no less subject than masters. During a man's first year in the country, it was considered safer not to work in the hot weather, when tobacco needed most care. The risk of losing him anyhow was so great that when the House of Burgesses passed a law against engrossing imported commodities to sell for a profit, they provided that, nevertheless, it shall be lawful for any person having bought a servant and undergone the charge and hazard of seasoning of any such servant, to make his best advantage by putting off or bartering such a servant with any other inhabitant within the colony. The risk was reflected in prices. A seasoned hand, even if he had only 2 or 3 years to serve, might be considered more valuable than a new man for his full term. The price for a servant just arriving from England with 5 years or more to serve ranged from 600 pounds or more in the 1630s up to 1,000 pounds or more in the 1640s and 1650s. A seasoned hand with 3 years or more to serve was worth from 1,500 to 2,000 pounds during the 1640s and early 1650s. A servant, though seasoned and in reasonably good health, was valuable only for the work that could be extracted from him in the given time of his service. But servants, unless closely supervised, were no more diligent in later decades than they had been in the early days of the colony. With this fact in mind, Governor Harvey in 1639 failed to act against one Thomas Lovett, who, by marrying a widow, gained control of an estate entrusted to her deceased husband by a London merchant. doubt that Loving was attaining the estate illegally, but the governor refrained from taking it away because there would then be no one to look after it. The servants being thereby left without oversight, by whose neglect the estate in question might suffer much prejudice. Harvey later explained the servant problem to his superiors in England. He wrote, daily experience informed us how much a Virginia estate, which consisted for, i.e., of servants for term years and cattle, is wasted in the absence of a master, through the neglect of servants whose time expire with certainty of charge to supply them, and no advantage to the master. A Virginia estate, in other words, might be here today and gone tomorrow simply for failure to make use of it. Virginia's high rate of mortality and the fleeing value of property, whether servants, land, tobacco, or, to a lesser degree, cattle, precluded any secure accumulation of wealth within the colony and invited theft and embezzlement of all kinds. It was not merely a question of widows and their husbands hanging on to estates that did not belong to them, or of men claiming, taking, and using up an estate before the true heir could show up. A clever crook could take advantage of almost any transfer of property in a community where every business transaction was a high-risk adventure, delicately balanced against the perishability of both the property and the participants involved. In spite of the handicaps thus imposed by mortality and by the evanescence of property, Virginians did manage in the decades after 1630 to bring a measure of stability to their economic transactions. In the absence of coin, they made tobacco their principal medium of exchange, and because it was so perishable a medium, they often made their exchanges in advance, in promissory notes, stated in pounds of tobacco, payable at the next crop. Big men, who could take a risk, became merchant planters. They bought shiploads of English goods and supplied their neighbors with clothes, tools, in return for such goods. Thus, Gye-Nyame, the merchant planter on the eastern shore in April 1647, supplied 17 persons there with goods valued at a total of 9,469 pounds of tobacco, payable the following October. Even fines levied as punishments by the courts were made payable at the next crop. Although the system was simple, its operation was complicated by the death rate. A not uncommon case occurred in the Norfolk court when the clerk reported a suit of 966 pounds of tobacco against John Lawrence because he had married the widow of John Stratton, who was the security for a debt due to Thomas Bridge, because Bridge had married the widow of George Bateman, who had married the widow of John Holmes, to whom the debt was originally owed. With the parties dying off so rapidly, it was easy to lose the documents and difficult to keep track of who owed what to whom. Frequently, the courts had to arbitrate disputes on the basis of oral testimony from witnesses to a transaction. In order to lend a greater stability to the system, the House of Burgesses at one point ordered markets to be set up, with the intention of establishing what amounted to an exchange, with the clerk at the point of the market witnessing every transaction. The measure failed, but the courts themselves took on the character of an exchange. All conveyances had to be recorded there, and book debts, those recorded only in the merchant's account book, were made not actionable. In order to speed collections, debtors would simply confess judgment, that is, admit that they owed the amount demanded and have the fact recorded without going through the expense of a trial. Speed was essential because of the importance of oral testimony and the mortality of witnesses. For example, creditors who had already collected from a man sometimes tried to collect again from his heirs, and often succeeded
Gina?
and also removed witnesses to the case.
Gina, up.
The court responded by adjusting the statute of limitations to the character of their society, ordering that no bill or bond should be good after 3 years from its date. In requiring the speedy settlement of debts, the courts aimed primarily at preventing fraud. They were also recognizing the importance of time in the colony's economy. Perhaps because Virginians had less time to reckon with than other people, not only that a man had a short while to live, his servants, his most lucrative income-producing property, were worthless unless used before their time ran out. And he had to have them on hand when he and his crop needed them. A Virginian who made a contract with my servants would go to court if they were not delivered on the agreed date. When John Neal promised to furnish John Harlow with a new man for 4 years' service, but was unable to obtain one by the specified time, he had to turn over his own servant, Richard Bailey, until he could get him. Time was money, or at any rate was tobacco, and tobacco was money. The courts recognized the equation by making debts payable in days of work. A debt in work might even be collectible for a day. As when the Northampton Court in 1641 ordered the estate of Daniel Cuddley, deceased, to pay 8 days' work to Henry King. As the courts took on the function of an exchange, they acknowledged the equation of time and money in other ways too. When a man brought a suit against another and failed to appear to prosecute it, he subjected the defendant to a waste of time for which he ought to pay. It accordingly became the practice in such cases to non-suit offenders and to owe the defendant a sum for the amount of work time lost. In an early instance, the Norfolk court spelled out the reasoning. Tristan Mason, having caused Robert Taylor to leave his affairs and to appear at this court, it is therefore ordered that the said Mason shall pay the said Robert Taylor for 1 day's work and his charges for his right the said day, and likewise the charges of the suit. In later instances, the court specified an amount of tobacco, usually at the rate of 20 pounds a day, with 10 pounds reckoned as the value of the day's work, and 10 pounds per night. Witnesses subpoenaed in the suit were entitled by the same reasoning to payment for their time, and the court ordered the losing party, or the party in whose behalf they were summoned, to reward them at a similar rate. Thus, Virginians built a local system of credit and exchange that recognized their peculiar conditions of life and created a kind of stability out of instability. Virginia could not quite be England. As long as the heavy mortality lasted, it might be vastly different. Yet, the differences were not all in England's favor. The very abundance of land and scarcity of people that made land a poor investment gave Virginia an irresistible attraction for ordinary men. Land was the anchor of every Englishman's hope of security, and English political philosophers attributed their country's freedom to the vigilance of its landowners, whose representatives in Parliament could curb the tyranny of ambitious monarchs. But in England, the landowners were few, while in Virginia, anyone who survived his seasoning and service could take up the plot, grow his crop, make his voice heard in voting for representatives, and perhaps even aspired to represent his neighbors in the House of Burgesses. Those who survived learned to live with the elements, even to overcome most of them. And when mortality finally began to decline, it looked for a time as though Virginia might become the center of a new world empire, where Englishmen and English liberty would thrive together. Chapter 9. The Trouble with Tobacco. Why and when Virginians began to live longer is almost as much a mystery as why they had died so rapidly. Concrete and indirect evidence of the rise in longevity comes from the rise in population after 1644. It had taken 37 years to achieve the roughly 8,000 people present in that year. In the next 9 years, the number grew to more than 14,000. And in the 9 years after that, it reached a probable 25,600. While it is not impossible that an increase in immigration contributed to the accelerated increase in population during these years, there is no clear evidence of it. Nothing, for instance, like the letters of the 1630s remarking on the large numbers of arrivals in Virginia. The population, to be sure, continued to be composed primarily of immigrants. Although the New England colonies were able to grow without many new arrivals after 1640, Virginia and Maryland, like the Sugar Islands of the West Indies, would have expired without a steady flow of new workers. The sharp increase in Virginia's population after 1644 probably came not from a corresponding rise in the number of annual arrivals, but from the fact that the newcomers had begun to live longer. They did not live as long, perhaps, as they would have if they had stayed in England, and certainly not as long as they would have if they had gone to New England. But they did live longer than their predecessors. More of them were surviving their seasoning, living out their terms of service and taking place in the community. The decline in mortality was not sudden. 17th century Virginia never became a health resort. In the 1680s, royal governors crashed from England still fled to New York to escape the summer fevers, and seasoning still left many newcomers looking like skeletons. A visiting physician in 1684 noted that their fingers stand stiffly bent. The hands of some hang as if they were loose at the wrists from the arms, and at length those that seemingly recover are often troubled with a sort of gout. On top of the regular summertime fevers, there came winter epidemics, an especially severe one of some unrecognized disease in 1686 to 87 and 1687 to 88 carried away large numbers, though probably not 1/3 of the tribals, as Governor Howard testified. In 1693, measles, and in 1696, smallpox were told. But these epidemics served to underline the decline in deaths from the seasoning sicknesses of summer. In 2 parishes where records of deaths survive, the dates show that summer was no longer the deadliest time in Virginia. In Charles Parish, York County, 54% of the deaths recorded in the years 1665 to 1700 occurred in the 5 months from November to March. And in Christ Church Parish, Middlesex County, 57% of deaths, 1678 to 1706, occurred in these months. If Virginia's earlier high mortality was the product of diseases prevalent in the summer, those diseases have apparently declined in intensity, at least by
Opening Yours Plus Size Clothing.
at least by comparison with winter diseases. Another stroll in the wind, suggesting an overall decline of disease in the second half of the century, is the increasing number of persons identified as physicians or chirurgeons in county court records. The Norfolk records mention 14 in the years from 1661 to 1700, as against 16 for a population perhaps half the size or less during the shorter period from 1637, when the records begin, to 1660. Moreover, lawsuits involving physicians were far fewer than in the earlier period. More direct evidence of improved health comes from our observed. In 1648, a writer signing himself Beauchamp and Patrick said that formerly 5 out of 6 immigrants had died in seasoning, but now it was only 1 in 100. By 1656, John Hammond, who had spent 21 years in the country, was able to affirm Virginia to be wholesome, healthy, and fruitful, because the colonists had improved their food and drink, and therefore enjoyed better healths. And Governor Berkeley, reporting to the Privy Council's Committee on Foreign Plantations in 1671, offered the opinion
Hey, Gina, Sasha's gonna need leggings.
but that Virginia
Leggings or stockings. That's all I got is a dress down here for her. You hear me? What? I said Sasha's gonna need stockings or leggings. Huh?
Virginia's continuing evil reputation for disease. He admitted that the many rivers and the vast quantity of water all over the country are blind people now and then to agues, especially at the time of year when people eat fruit without any other measure than the bigness of their bellies. But in general, he found that Virginians were no less healthy than other people. One reason for the decline in mortality may have been the very fruit to which Berg attributed the country's agues. For a disease often mentioned as afflicting Virginians, especially their rivals, was scurvy. Though it is impossible to tell whether the diagnosis was accurate, It may be that the development of orchards and the availability of fresh fruit furnished the settlers with a supply of badly needed vitamins. Fruit may have helped in another way too, by contributing to a change in drinking habits. Early Virginians were notoriously fond of anything with alcohol in it, but in the absence of beer or cider, they were normally obliged to drink water. The water table in tidewater Virginia was doubtless high, and wells therefore shallow and easily contaminated. As long as Virginians drank, they would be exposed to a greater variety of bacilli, including those responsible for typhoid fever. We are told that Virginians in the early years moved about a great deal in search of land that would make a bigger pot of tobacco, a practice that would have discouraged the laborious construction of deep wells in locations more favorable to health than to tobacco culture. Moving about also kept men from planting orchards. A remonstrance by several prominent Virginians, dated 1638, argues for a tobacco contract with English merchants on the grounds that hereby we shall be enabled to build commodious habitations in towns, whereas now the British, after great quantities of tobacco, causeth them after 5 or 6 years continually to remove, and therefore neither build their houses, fence their grounds, or plant any orchards, etc. The last point is perhaps important. By mid-century, we find increasing mention of orchards in the deeds and leases recorded in county courts. And John Hammond asserted that while during the boom years the settlers had neglected to plant orchards, in 1656, orchards innumerable were planted and preserved. The settlers had finally settled down, and were therefore getting something better than water. The purpose of an orchard was not so much to get fruit to eat as to get cider to drink. Cider and other fermented beverages would have been much less lethal than contaminated water. Still, another factor contributing to survival may have been an improvement in the conditions of transportation to the colony. The Virginia Assembly in 1662 ordered masters of ships to provide adequate clothing and 4 months' provisions for every passenger carried from England. Though there was no method of enforcing the order, yet other measures may have improved shipboard conditions and had brought immigrants to Virginia half dead from undernourishment and exposure. And the newcomers may have had a better chance of survival because of a change in the time of arrival of ships. In the 1630s, despite pleas from the colonists, ships were still reaching Virginia in the summer months. For the 1660s, they were arriving in the fall or early winter, as they did for the rest of the colonial period, thereby avoiding the danger from seasoning and from the worm that ate ships' hulls in the lower reaches of Virginia's rivers during the summer. The immigrants had time to recover from the voyage and were consequently better able to withstand the killing summer. The decline in mortality did not much alter the patterns of life that Virginians had built during the deadly years. The credit system continued to operate through promissory notes. Orphans' courts continued to look after the fatherless. Widows continued to be sought after. And everyone who could afford to continued to import servants. The lengthening lifespan, however, did create rising expectations. With death no longer staring them so closely in the face, more and more of the incoming servants could count on making it through their term of servitude to set up a place of their own in a society that was now in a position to offer them increasing security. John Hammond, in his account of Virginia and Maryland, published in 1656, perhaps painted too idyllic a picture, but there was reason for his remark that never any servants of late times have gone thither, but in their letters to their friends command and approve of the place, and rather invite and dissuade their acquaintance from coming thither. And why not? With the mortality diminished, Virginia looked like the best poor man's country in the world. The whole continent lay behind it, and had plenty of room for everyone. But everyone, unfortunately, wanted to make tobacco. As more and more of the newcomers stayed alive, Virginia's annual tobacco harvest rose, and, as had happened before, and again, there was a limit to how much the rest of the world would buy at the prices formerly given. Crops of £500,000 had ended the underprices of the 1620s. By 1665, 1663, the official count of tobacco reaching the port of London alone was over 7 million pounds. In 1669, 9 million. In 1672, 10.5 million. And the planter had to sell for half or less of what he got in the 1640s and 1650s. It was not difficult to see that Virginia was too dependent on tobacco. Thoughtful men had said so from the beginning. And Virginians, whom a nascent local patriotism was beginning to stir, felt ashamed of their colony's continuing failure to live up to expectations by producing something more useful. It was surely not the fault of the land. The colony could boast of what amounted to the largest harbor in the world, with its great rivers and loud ocean-going vessels to sail deep into the interior. It had rich soil, abundant timber, and an infinite expanse of unexplored territory. Such a land should become a rich land, the source of all kinds of wholesome commodities, the seat of great cities. But instead of gathering together in cities and towns like the civilized men of England, the inhabitants still spread out over the countryside. Instead of attempting to discover and develop the true riches that the country could surely be made to yield, they still produced nothing but tobacco. Virginia houses continued to stand and fall as symbols of the colony's spirit. Civilization to Englishmen still meant living in durable houses, and some of Virginia's big men did build brick. Everyone else still lived in the rotting wooden affairs that lay above the landscape like so many landlocked ships. A heavy storm would knock them down, or fire devour them in an instant. But no matter. Sift the ashes to nails, and put up more. Wood was cheap. To some Virginians, this seemed a sorry way to live. They wanted the place to look more like England, more civil, more like a promised land that was fulfilling its promise. The reason it did not, they thought, was because of tobacco. Everybody blamed tobacco, and no one mentioned that Virginians had been far more miserable in the years before they discovered it than they had ever been since. Although during the boom years they had defeated every move to limit the tobacco crop and promote the production of other commodities, we have seen that after the price collapsed, they themselves tried to limit the crop. The impetus for their efforts had come from a drop in tobacco prices, but the purpose of limitation, then and later, was not merely to raise prices, but also to encourage new products. Limitation would give men time for other lucrative activities, and the anticipated higher price of tobacco would furnish the capital needed for starting more wholesome enterprises. The argument was so appealing that Virginians fell for it again and again. Each scheme was abandoned before its promoters thought it had had a fair trial. So the next scheme always had a reservoir of hope to build it. In the later 1650s, as population and production figures headed up and tobacco prices headed down, the stage was set for the most ambitious effort of the century to save Virginia from tobacco and the evils that accompanied it. And a man to direct the rescue was already on the scene. Sir William Berkeley was energetic and talented, and he brought to his task a thorough familiarity with the country. He had watched Virginia grow under his direction into a relatively stable community. After he was deposed from office by Parliament, he stayed at his plantation in the colony and enjoyed the prosperity that Dutch shipping continued to bring, despite parliamentary prohibitions. But he was one of those not satisfied with the colony's continued dependence on tobacco. He wanted Virginia to become the biggest jewel in the restored king's crown. And when the Assembly summoned him back to office at a time when the colonists' health had improved, he was filled with visions of also improving the colony's economy. To the north, New Englanders had achieved a much more balanced economy than Virginia, but Berkeley had no wish to learn from Puritans. He returned his scorn and hatred for the Roundheads who had killed his king, and he despised the New Englanders who continued to embody their seditious tenets after 1660. When answering some queries about Virginia in 1671, he gave his opinion that the colony's Anglican ministers were well paid, but that he would be happy to see them paid even better if they would pray oftener and preach less. Preaching was a Puritan specialty, and he did not like it even from the mouths of men whose orthodoxy was assured. And he wanted none more of those other Puritan specialties, schools and books. In Virginia, he said, I thank God there are no free schools nor printing, and I hope we shall not have these 100 years. For learning has brought disobedience and heresy and sects into the world, and printing has divulged and libels against the best government. God keep us from both. He would tolerate no doctrines that nourish sedition in his government. And yet Berkeley's plans for Virginia sound a little like New England with the Puritanism left out. The settlers must gather in towns where they can better protect themselves from savage enemies without and from the savage nature that lurked within them all. Only towns and cities could nourish the arts and skills that distinguish civil men from barbarians. Surrounded by paying customers, artisans would no longer be tempted to relinquish their skilled callings to earn a living by tobacco. They would build ships so that the colony could develop its own commerce. They would smelt and forge iron from the mines that would be discovered. They would spin and weave cloth from the wool and linen that the farmers outside the towns would produce. For the farmers, too, would give up their addiction to tobacco and cease to be dependent on the vagaries of the tobacco market. They would expand corn and wheat production and export to the sugar planters of the West Indies.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm not ironing this shit. I ain't falling for it.
What?
Bring your ass here.
What? After all, Virginia enjoyed a central position in North America, close to the West Indies, and close, it was been supposed, to the rich Spanish.
I'm not ironing this. Shoot this right off of this right here.
Virginia
Right out of
should be the
this.
center of England's New World now.
I'm not doing that shit. I'm not ironing that. Because you almost grown. I'm not about to be smelling your funk, nigga. You want to wear that shirt? You iron that shit.
It's being considered not only the best in
You gonna talk to your mom because if you only got one pair of pants, one shirt, you need some more shit. So how many shirts you got? I think I got about 3. Well, where they at? So that means you need to get your legs there. That's down here. Let's talk about your clothes. Let's see if it's something in here. Is there some shirts in there? Did you look?
No problem to persuade the royal advisors that Virginia should be producing something more than tobacco. Instructions to Virginia's royal governors have repeatedly called upon them to set people building towns and growing other crops. Moreover, Berkeley's drive to diversify production in Virginia coincided with a renewed English interest in expanding in other countries on the continent. In spite of the exodus to the New World, England still harbored a larger population than she did before. But England's self-appointed economists were now moving to the view that surplus people could be an asset instead of a liability, a means to increase the products the country could manufacture for sale abroad. With such parallel sentiments developing in England, Berkeley expected to find encouragement for his own plans for Virginia. But he quickly found that encouragement was limited to kind words. Neither the king nor his advisors, nor the English merchants who marketed Virginia tobacco, were willing to invest capital in diversifying Virginia's exports. The funds would have to come from the Virginians themselves, which meant that in the end, they would have to come from the crop that the new enterprises were supposed to replace. But how could that happen with Virginia already depressed by the low price of tobacco, and with her lucrative Dutch trade outlawed by a new navigation act? At the prompting of the king and the merchants, Parliament in 1660 had required that henceforth all tobacco from the colonies be shipped to England, where the king could collect a duty on it, and the merchants profit. England's interest in having towns in Virginia was not quite the same as that felt by Virginians. England expected the towns to become export centers for shipping tobacco more swiftly and surely. English merchants would benefit by a reduced turnaround time in loading tobacco ships from a central location, and the customs revenue would benefit by a reduction of clandestine sales of foreign ships from the scattered private wards of the planters. King, Parliament, and merchants were all more interested in the certain profits of taxing and selling Virginia tobacco than in uncertain profits from the uncertain staples that they continually enjoined the Virginians to produce. Berkeley was saddened by the king's want of confidence in Virginia and angered by Parliament's prohibition of tobacco shipments to foreign markets. His own confidence in the colony was undiminished, and he returned to see what he could do on the spot, hopeful that if he could show results, he would be able to persuade the king and his advisors to do more. He carried with him royal instructions that repeated the usual injunctions to Virginia governors, but made more specific, probably at his own request. A town was to be built on each river. The governor and each of his council should build houses. The people should plant mulberries and grow silver. They should produce flax, hemp, pitch, potash. In Virginia, Berkeley found among some of the wealthy planters who sat on his council the same indifference to the colony's future and the same addiction to tobacco that he had encountered in England. The Burgesses, however, were convinced of the benefits of his plan, and agreed in particular that the colony must have a genuine town or city, for without one we could not be long civil, rich, or happy. That it was the first step to our security from our Indian enemies, and the only means to bring in those commodities all wise men had so long expected from us. The Assembly accordingly voted that, in order to make Jamestown a real city, every county should be responsible for putting up a real house built with brick and a slate or tile roof. The buildings would be laid out in whatever pattern Berkeley might think convenient. Even before Berkeley's return, the Assembly also took steps to implement his diversification program by establishing bounties for various products made in Virginia. 50 pounds of tobacco per ton for every boat or ship built. 3 pounds of tobacco for every yard of linen. 5 pounds of tobacco for every yard of wool. 50 pounds of tobacco for every pound of silk made. They revived a former law requiring every landholder to plant mulberry trees. They required every county to erect a tan house at public expense and forbade the exportation of hides, wool, and iron in order to encourage manufactures. A few years later, they required every county to set up a loom at public expense. The costs of the program were not small. The record of expenditures by the Assembly is available only for its first year of operation, 1663. In that year, though the program was just getting started, the Assembly paid bounties amounting to 10,700 pounds of tobacco on 32.25 pounds of silk, 177 yards of woven cloth, and 4 vessels totaling 164 tons. That was modest enough, but the bill for surveying the new town of Jamestown, for starting the State House and 11 other houses, plus the bill for bricks and lime, amounted to 251,400 pounds. The total cost of the new program was over 262,000 pounds, nearly half the public expenses for the year, and equal to more than 22 pounds for every titleable person in the colony. Berkeley himself, never bashful about claiming public funds, collected 80,000 pounds for building 8 houses and 30,000 for the State House to be built. The amount was about the same, 500 pounds, as he was investing annually of his own funds in wages for workmen, whom he had engaged to make silk, flax, hemp, and potash. Within 2 years, assured Thomas Povey, secretary of the Privy Council's Committee for Trade and Plantations, he expected to send a ship loaded entirely with flax, hemp, and potash produced by his own men. Meanwhile, he begged the English government to send over agents whom the king trusted to view the colony so that they could assure his majesty of its promise. Berkeley also pleaded for flax and hemp seed and skilled men to grow them and to work their fibers. He needed men skilled in silk culture too. There is no evidence that skilled men were sent to Berkeley, or that he got off his shipload of flax, hemp, and potash in 2 weeks' time. Nor did he get the financial backing he needed for diversification from Virginians who might have helped push the scheme to success. With the restoration of the monarchy and of a degree of civility in England, these men had become afflicted with the upon Virginia as a place of short sojourn, where a man could seek a present crop and a hasty return. Though an ordinary man could scarcely make enough to stay out of debt on the low tobacco prices of the 1660s and 1670s, a man with a capital and credit to deal on a large scale could find opportunities to make substantial profits by buying and selling at the right time and by working his men a little harder. And with England back on an even keel, it might be more attractive to invest the profits there rather than risking them again in Virginia. The biggest men in Virginia were all too drunk, Governor Berkeley observed in 1663, to keep looking back on England with hopes that the selling of what they have here will make them live plentifully there. And many have not been deceived in that opinion, which has been a stop to the growth of this country, for on it they expend no more than what is useful to them in order to their return for England. In spite of his inability to tap private capital, Berkeley did not lose faith in his project. In 1666, when Governor Nichols of New York mentioned that the people there were starting to grow flax and make linen, Berkeley assured him that if they persevered, every woman in New York would be able to earn more in a year than 3 men planting tobacco in Virginia. In 1668, he collected 300 pounds of Virginia silk to send to the king as a token of what the colony could achieve, even without the skilled man he had asked for. Frustrated in his efforts to get such men completed, he was prepared to go to France himself and gone into trade with the West Indies, like they hated New England. In 1667, he was able to write to Governor Nichols, "I am now turning an absolute corn merchant, and am sending great quantities to Barbados." In addition to promoting diversification, he made a major effort to limit the use of tobacco. In the absence of outside capital, it was essential to Berkeley's scheme, for every other reform in Virginia's economy, that the production of tobacco be limited. Two ways of achieving the goal were considered. The more drastic one, which would probably have effected an immediate rise in tobacco prices, as well as turning the planters to other tasks, was a total cessation of tobacco planting for a year. Another way would have been to prohibit planting after a certain date every year. In either case, it would have been necessary for Virginia, Maryland, and possibly North Carolina, as yet a mere outpost of Virginia of the separate government, to agree on whatever was done. For Virginia alone to reduce production would have benefited only the neighbors. The Virginia Assembly had shown its commitment to the diversification program in the provisions for bounties and for the building of towns. When it came to a cessation or reduction of planting, the members were equally prepared to further the scheme, and so were the members of the Maryland Assembly. Most of the members of both assemblies were merchant planters with large investments in tobacco. Probably many of them had substantial amounts of land unsold. They would be happy to hold it where the expected price would rise, and could probably wait out the interval without much spoilage, because by the 1660s, Virginians had so improved their curing and packing practices that hogsheads could be stored longer without rot. But as they considered the matter, they had to reckon with the effect on the small planter and on the growing numbers of freed men, as servants would serve their terms and become freemen, or frequently called. For men living close to the edge of poverty, with no stocks of tobacco or anything else in hand, a year without planting might be too strong medicine. For that reason, many favor the second alternative of prohibiting planting after a certain date. For 3 years, while Berkeley exercised his not inconsiderable talents for diplomacy, the colonies argued about which alternative to take. But in 1666, when a huge amount of tobacco was left unsold, all 3 colonies agreed to halt planting from February 1st, 1667, to February 1st, 1668. For 3 American colonies to agree about anything in the 17th century was a rare find. Unfortunately, the assemblies had not counted on the fact that other men had a larger stake in the proceeds of their constituents' labor than they did. Because the people of Virginia and Maryland could so heavily to the income of the British government, of Lord Baltimore, and of British tobacco merchants. They were not free to perform this kind of economic experiment, even though its object was precisely the diversification that had been enjoined upon them ever since the founding of their colonies. The assemblies might have been forewarned by the action of the Privy Council 3 years earlier in rejecting a petition asking that the king himself interdict tobacco planting in Virginia and Maryland for a year. A cessation would interrupt, or at least sharply reduce, the flow of customs duties from tobacco into the royal treasury. And if the diversification scheme succeeded, though perhaps the empire would benefit in the long run, short-run loss to the treasury would not be insignificant. Tobacco duties from Virginia and Maryland accounted for perhaps 25% of England's customs revenue and 5% of the government's total income in the 1660s. The duty levied by Lord Baltimore on tobacco exported from Maryland probably constituted the largest share of his income. In 1667, Baltimore relieved the Privy Council of the need for turning down the intercolonial agreement that Berkeley had worked so hard to achieve. Baltimore vetoed Maryland's participation, thereby, as Berkeley said, robbing Virginia and Maryland alike of all future hopes of the advancement of our commodity. Baltimore offered a number of reasons, not including the loss to himself, for rejecting the secession. He was not persuaded that the state of the trade was so bad as to require so drastic a measure. Industrious planters in Virginia and Maryland, as he heard it, live in much greater plenty and gain estates much sooner than those of their colleagues. But he recognized that not everyone was prosperous. For he went on to argue that a cessation would ruin the poor and enrich the rich. He was not surprised, he said, that the council and a major part of the assemblies of both colonies, which consist of the ablest planters, should agree to such cessations, or that the merchants here should desire the same, it being in truth a way to make them rich in 1 year. Like the merchant planters in Virginia, the merchants in England had the tobacco already on hand to benefit from the cessation. But the small men, as Baltimore pointed out, would be prevented from his only means of livelihood. Baltimore may have been shedding crocodile tears. He had discovered a personal reason why he and the king should be particularly concerned for the welfare of the men who did the actual labor in Virginia's and Maryland's tobacco fields. He had heard from Maryland that a cessation might result in rebellion by the growing mass of poor planters, and a rebellion might reduce the volume of tobacco production, and hence the revenue, even more drastically than a prohibition of planting. The size of the revenue from Virginia and Maryland depended on keeping as many colonists as possible working in the fields. As this became increasingly clear to the king and his advisors, the possibility of limitation and diversification, of transforming Virginia into something other than a collection of tobacco plantations, grew correspondingly smaller. Perhaps with the assistance of the ethical imperatives of Puritanism, something resembling Berkeley's dream for Virginia could have been achieved. Certainly the New Englanders, who were not the handicap of the soil and climates well suited to tobacco, did achieve something like it. But given the Virginians' attitude toward service, work, and time, it would have been difficult at best to sustain a program of purpose, a program that required short-term losses from reduction of the tobacco crop and from artificial support of new enterprises for the sake of a possible long-term gain. The temptation to corruption that the program presented to the society where corruption and government was already familiar were apparent in the large sums received by individuals, including Berkeley himself, for building houses which, according to one account, fell down nearly before they were finished. But corruption in the carrying out of the scheme was only symptomatic of the forces working against it. It was caught in the competition of the king, Lord Baltimore, and the tobacco merchants of the one hand, and successful large companies to squeeze as much profit as possible as quickly as possible out of the biggest servants and small planters. The patterns of raw exploitation established by boom times in the 1620s had subsided but not disappeared in the settling down the following. As mortality dropped and population rose, new possibilities for exploitation appeared, and Virginia became a land of opportunity, not for the men who survived their season and continued to work the fields, but for kings, the rulers, and others who united with the power of justice to live. Chapter 10. A Golden Future. A wealthy property from the labor of Virginia's tobacco growers after 1660, the king stood for it. Royal interest in the wealth of freedom from tobacco long antedated Berkeley's efforts to eliminate Virginia's economy. Already in 1619, James I, even as he denounced the evils of tobacco, had tried to gain for the crown some of the profits of supplying Englishmen with it. Charles I had also tried, also unsuccessfully, to talk Virginians into giving him and his favorites the exclusive right to market their product. But the royal government had another way to collect the lion's share of the profits from tobacco by requiring economists to ship their crop to the mother country, where an import duty could be collected on. The first edict requiring shipment to England was issued in 1621, but could not be effectively enforced. And while the English were preoccupied with their civil wars, the Dutch had taken the opportunity to enter the trade. During the years when the Virginians were establishing their society, it was mainly the Dutch who carried off their tobacco. When Cromwell first began to gather in the springs of empire in the 1650s, London merchants stood behind him in the attempt to wrest from the Dutch their control of trade everywhere. And when Charles II took the throne in 1660, the same merchants had joined him in moves to make as much as possible out of the rising tobacco crop. In that year, the king's ministers secured the passage of the Navigation Act mentioned in the preceding chapter that cut off Virginia's trade with the Dutch. The act required tobacco produced in any English colony to be shipped only to England or to another English colony. It had to be shipped in an English or English colonial ship, manned by a crew that was at least 3/4 English or English colonial. When it entered England, it would pay a duty of 2d. a pound, a tax roughly equal to the price the producer then got for it, and more than he would get during the next 2 decades. Although 1.5 pence of the 2-penny duty was returned if a merchant reshipped his tobacco to a foreign market, the revenue from tobacco was spectacular. In 1675, when roughly 1/3 of the tobacco was re-exported, the annual proceeds from tobacco duties were estimated at 100,000 pounds. In 1685, the customs levy on what stayed in England was raised to 5 cents. Re-exportation rose steadily and reached 63% of imports in the last years of the century. Even so, the king must have received roughly 1,894,000 pounds from the Virginia and Maryland tobacco crop during the 6 years from 1697 to 1702. By 1708, one observer estimated the annual revenue at 400,000 pounds. The drop in the price of tobacco after mortality declined and production increased was no catastrophe for the king. The customs duty was levied not on value but on weight. If the planter got only a halfpenny a pound, tobacco dropped that low in 1666, the king still got 2d. a pound. The larger the crop, the bigger its price, the greater the royal revenue. No other colonial product carried such a burden of imperial taxation. In the 1670s, it could be calculated that every man who worked in the tobacco fields earned £7 10 annually for the royal treasury, which was more than he earned for himself before his master. No other colonial product yielded so much revenue. The value and weight of sugar brought to England from the West Indies was greater than that of Virginia and Maryland tobacco, but the duties collected on it were small. More than once in the course of the century, Virginia's governor reminded the king that Virginia produced a larger share of the royal revenue than any other colony. Although the king, or the government he represented, became the principal tobacco profiteer as soon as the Navigation Acts were passed, Tobacco seems to have invited exploitation by men of every rank of the 17th century, and the development of Virginia society after 1660 must be viewed with an eye to the toll that everyone who came near tobacco tried to collect on it. Every year, after the danger from the summer fevers was past and the great harvest was beginning to come in the fields to be cured, the tobacco ships would converge on Virginia, make their way through the passage between Cape Charles and Cape Henry, and spread out into the watery landscape, up the great rivers and into the bays, Lynn Haven, Muckjack, Chesapeake, to familiar wharves. The first loaded and back to England would enjoy an advantage in the European market, that many, for safety's sake, sailed together. In a small way, it was like the gathering of the Spanish treasure fleet at Nombre de Dios, or San Juan de Ulua. Tobacco was scarcely gold or silver, but the quantities carried out through Virginia's capes every year were enough to attract some of the same kind of attention that Englishmen had given to the treasure of New Spain centuries. As the volume of shipping rose, pirates of all nations became a serious problem. Sometimes they lurked over the cables to catch the tobacco ships on the ground. Often they came inside and ranged along the shores, pilfering and plundering. Occasionally they were caught and executed, but they kept coming. In 1700, an English man of war, Virginia's Governor Nicholson, captured one in Lynnhaven Bay after a battle that lasted from 5 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. The two ships were in pistol shot at each other and blasting away with everything they had. The naval patrols were not always so assiduous. Some of the men entrusted with fending off pirates and interlopers were distinguishable from the pirates only by the flag they flew. Roger Jones, an old Navy captain, assigned in 1683 to command an armed sloop of 12 men, managed to make do with 8 men while collecting pay for the full 12, and thus began his Virginia career with a tiny bonus. The small number of men he retained would scarcely have been effective against pirate ships, which sometimes mustered crews of over 100, but they served as a bargaining force. Jones, it was claimed, laid the foundation of a great estate by advising, treating with, and sheltering several pirates and unlawful traders, but more particularly by trading with and assisting one Davis and other pirates, to whom, as is credibly reported, he struck the king's colors. But they soon understood he was of their own tribe, or a well-wisher to them, and therefore dismissed Captain Jones again with a considerable quantity of French wine and other valuable goods. Jones was succeeded by Captain Thomas Allen and Captain John Crofts of the Royal Navy, his 2 naval catches, Deptford and Quaker. Allen and Crofts seem to have been independent Quakers. Allen is a mistress of Crofts, a wife, or at least a woman he called his wife. Governor Howard was not persuaded that she was. Crofts was often in his house, but when sober, he knew how to take advantage of the opportunities that they found. He and Allen apparently made a practice of shaking down the masters of battle ships already cleared by the local customs officers. When the battle had concluded, they took him according to a rapid planner about 500 pounds yearly apiece, and might easily have raised the sum to 1,000 pounds apiece if the one had not been stopped. There were enough technicalities in the customs regulations to offer a pretext for holding the ship for a time. A master with a cargo aboard was already eager to get it to market as soon as possible, and made the more eager by the fact that it was difficult to scrape together provisions for the voyage. Once your ship was ready to go, it was worth paying a substantial bribe to be out of the way, especially if you were intercepted by Captain Crofts. Crofts was a violent man, and good at intimidating those he stopped. When in drink, he and his alleged wife regularly threw everything in sight at each other. She even tossed coals from the fire about the cabin, terrifying the men in the powder room. The crew sometimes had to take to the shrouds to get clear of the cabin, as he thrashed about with drawn sword, threatening to split them all. When Crofts stopped William Yates, headed for Plymouth in the Daniel and Elizabeth, with 4 Plymouth out of thousands of others that he was come there to gain an estate, and he would get them before he left the country. Yet, Yanis gathered up what plate and gold and silver rings in fine order, and presented them as a contribution to Captain Silver. His response, according to Yanis, was to swear, damn him again. He would not be contented with such tokens. He demanded 50 guineas, but this was too much for Yanis, and costs minus of 25 pounds sterling, plus the flight and some clothes. Unfortunately for Crofts, the owner of the vessel, William Martin Flint, was not a man to take this sort of thing lying down. Hence, the case ultimately came before the Privy Council, to whom the Secretary of the Colony attested that, though many merchants have suffered by Captain Crofts and his picture, none have taken so good resolutions to make known their sufferings as this Mr. Martin had. A more talented cook than Captain Crofts was Captain James Moody of HMS Southampton. Though he had a nasty habit of horsewhipping Virginians who displeased him, Captain Moody avoided the crude form of shakedown favored by Crofts. Instead, when stationed in Virginia waters in the 1690s, he turned his sailors into lumberjacks, preparing for the lumber business. The other men fell cedar and black walnut, much prized in England, but expensive to transport. After his men had sorted into planks and billets, Moody delivered these, marked with his name, to the tobacco ships riding in the James and West rivers. Those captains who refused to carry them over or demanded that Moody pay freight charges found their sailors impressed for service aboard the Southampton, and their ships thereby stranded. Moody managed to get into the tobacco business also, but not by having his sailors for tobacco. Though unable to pay for provisions for his crew, he seems to have had no trouble buying tobacco on credit for himself, and this too he got shipped, freight-free, by the same tactics. Officers of the Royal Navy were not the only government officials that fattened on the tobacco trade. Virginians serving in the colony government benefited the act too. In order to reduce direct taxes, the House of Burgesses in 1658 tried a duty of 2 shillings per hogshead exported from Virginia. They repealed the act the next year, but reimposed it in 1662, and in 1680 made it perpetual. The governor usually named members of his council to collect the duty, 2 for the James River, 2 for the Potomac, and 1 each for the Rappahannock, the York, and the Eastern Shore. After 1673, when Parliament levied a penny a pound duty on tobacco shipped to another English colony instead of to England, the collectors were usually entrusted with gathering this too, and with enforcing the other navigation acts. As compensation, they were entitled to fees for entering and clearing ships, and to a 10% commission on the duties they collected. But a collector's salary, the commission was also known as a salary in 17th century Virginia, was not as important as the opportunities the office presented. Nicholas Spencer, collector for the lower precinct of the Potomac, admitted as much in asking his brother to secure him a royal confirmation of the office in perpetuity, in case the next governor should give or sell it to another. The profit of salary is not so much as the many advantages it gives me other ways, he wrote. Precisely what Spencer meant by other ways, he did not say. Perhaps the collectors could get free freight for their own tobacco in return for overlooking certain duties. Possibly they commanded a more direct form of bribery, as 18th century customs officials did. At any rate, when the zealous Edward Randolph came to inspect Virginia's collectors in 1692, he found them a venal lot, who regarded their offices simply as perquisites, intended to enrich the members of the council. As councilors, they were able to block all efforts at reform, for they constituted the colony's Supreme Court. In 1698, Benjamin Harrison, who was about to gain a seat on the council himself, observed how they stood by each other. And if any one of themselves does happen to speak a little freely of the miscarriages of his brethren, though perhaps there may be truth enough in it, yet upon second thoughts they, taking it to be their common interest to agree among themselves, you generally let such things sleep without moving any further. And thus, about 2 years since Collector Park, collector for the Lower James, of his own knowledge accused Collector Hill, collector for the Upper James, in the presence of several people, of frauds and abuses in collecting the penny a pound on tobacco imposed by the 25-car 2C7. But it is probable the consideration how fatal a prosecution of that nature might in consequence prove to himself amongst the rest caused him to desist from making any legal information. Harrison was ready to cite other names and figures to demonstrate his conclusion that there is not perhaps in all the king's dominions any place where the methods of managing both the trade and revenues are so exactly calculated to defraud the public and abuse the subject. It might be expected from the hints of bribery, the collectors seldom often obliged to seize a ship for violating the Navigation Acts. When they did, the circumstances were likely to be unusual, as in the case of the ship Phoenix. The Phoenix belonged to William Fisher, a
Who's messing with my phone?
What's going on, Breaking Brown family? I swear, every time I come into YouTube and a Negro ain't complaining, but good God, every time I come in, the screen, baby Jesus, the screen, the user terminal that I look at to try to figure out what's going on, every time I come in here, they done changed it. I can't live like this. I don't know where to find nothing. I don't know where to find the chat. I don't know where to find the people. I don't know where to find who's on so I can get started. I don't know what everybody's doing. Good God. What? Hey, Breaking Brown family, what is up? Please get your libations and if possible, buy me one. Um, um, but family, we got a lot to talk about. Before we get to all that, please let's do a little bit of housekeeping, family. If you can donate, please go to donateground.com or patreon.com/WattCarnell. If you cannot do that, we understand. We are American DOS. I would appreciate it if you could hit that like button for me. Hit that like button. I can't even find the like button for where I am. I don't know what's going on. Oh, YouTube. Gosh. But hit that like button for me. Please share it. Hit that bell if you haven't hit that bell already so you know when the Brecken Brown family is on. So please hit the bell for me if you can do that. Also, go to subscribe to Brown.com just to add your name to my mailing list in case one day we will wake up and the whole channel's gone. Something strange like that is going on. No idea why anybody would do anything like that. But let's please do that, family. I appreciate everybody who is here, everybody who is in the chat, everybody who is in the conversation. I appreciate you all being here. We have something to talk about. But even before we talk about what we're going to talk about, the 21st of March, everyone, let's not forget, the 21st of March, we'll be reading American Slavery, American Freedom, Edmund S. Morgan. And that will be our book club. That will be our book club meeting that we're going to have a conversation about. We're going to
rice. The rice is cooking.
Please.
It's already warm.
I picked up the book. I got copies from the book from somebody who got the book or gone to the library to get the book. Please take care of that so we can have the conversation. We had a really good conversation last time about the Denmark Vesey book. So I would appreciate it if we could have a good conversation about this book as well, because it talks about how like American freedom is kind of built on American slavery. It's something that we kind of talk about, but like we try to do here, we try to undergird what we talk about. We don't try to just talk. I want to undergird what we talk about with actual data and actual information. That's what I want to do if I can do it. You know, let's make sure we understand that in 1860, slaves as an asset were worth more than all of America's manufacturing, all of America's railroads, all of the productive capacity of the United States put together. This is from daily stories David W. Blight. You know, come on. Well, a slave with like 3 years of field training was worth the same as a house.
You made me get up.
I got hand
That's the conversation that we're having right here today. So like I said, please, if you haven't picked up the book or have gotten access to the book by other means, please do so, please do so, please do so, please do so. Now, as we start to have this conversation, let me tell you, fam, let me tell you something. Even if you are someone that I do respect or that I have respected, we can have disagreements. So the theme for tonight is based around narratives, and it's based around connections, and it's based around meaning. So when you want to think of the theme for tonight, we got to talk about narratives, and we got to talk about narratives, and we got to talk about meaning. So let's have that conversation, because that conversation is important. Thank you, Tamika Hogg, Andrews. I appreciate it. That narrative is important in terms of what we have to do and where we have to go and how people are framing immigration. For those of you who did not see, you know, there was Donald Trump today walked out of a meeting with Pelosi and Schumer. I guess that's the name that they've been given, like Nancy and Chuck, right? So he walked out of that meeting and he said that they basically said, you're not gonna give me, if I open the government up, are you gonna give me what I want? And they basically said, no, you're not gonna get a wall. And he said, well, I ain't opening the government back up. And so we'll just be back to where we were because I'm not doing it, right? So that's where we are in terms of this conversation, in terms of the conversation that we're having right now. That's where we are. That's what Trump did, and it is an ongoing conversation. CNN was talking about it, everybody talking about it today, what's happening, what's going on, and all of this different stuff. Everybody's having this conversation about, well, what is we gonna do? What's going on with the government? But there's also, in addition, like you have to look at like the sub-conversation and what is being done to kind of push this narrative through that like a wall or
You got to put it on.
They got to be concrete and steel and all the stuff that we're talking about. One of the things that you find is that the question that really needs to be answered is how is this narrative this narrative around them. What is going on in terms of this narrative that we're hearing? And how Mom and Daddy people advocating or navigating themselves within this conversation. How are we navigating? This is the tweet that I started with when I said there are people I have respect for who say that and have the words to say. I put this up on Twitter. Probably at Twitter, right around. You see it out there. People have the worst, like people I respect have the worst takes on this immigration issue, and I'm going to break down why these takes are the worst takes and what it says about us and what it says about who we are and what it says about us as a group, as a community, and how we have to have a way forward and what is being stolen from us within this immigration conversation. Some of what I said, some of you have heard before, but we're going to add to this, we're going to build on that, because we're in Politics 102 today. We're not Politics 101, right? So we're building up another level. So let's go for it. I saw this earlier. Professor A.S. Blood. Building a wall, building the wall is like the building Confederate statue in 1990.
When I saw me eat,
It was a monument.
you know the beef that I made for you, you didn't eat it, right?
Where?
Probably go back.
Where?
Border security.
What would it eat?
Where they at?
Okay?
They in that pot?
That thing,
It's about ideology.
that thing is probably gone back.
You made somebody else.
I dropped it in the bathtub by accident, but it's
This ain't no beans.
I think that thing is probably gone back.
You said what?
What?
This ain't beans.
I'm not talking about that.
What
What is in there?
Oh,
the soup. Put that soup in the, put it on the stove for me, please. I said put that soup on the stove.
Gina accidentally put your computer.
Where the beans you made for me at?
Hatim, I said forget about it. That beans is like a month now.
Give me some. Just open it, it won't work.
I appreciate it beforehand, but we have to go. We have to go today. Dad, Michelle, I appreciate what you want to do, but today you are diminishing my citizenship by basically trying to make me the same as immigrants and saying we don't deserve citizenship.
She's a liar.
So about this?
You are diminishing.
Probably go back.
You are diminishing my. I can't even say as American DOS. I can't even say you are diminishing my citizenship. You are diminishing my attempt to become a citizen, which is what we've been trying to do for 40 years, and we still haven't gotten there. We're still a bottom line, which means we're not full citizens. And you are diminishing that by tying an illegal immigrant or an undocumented immigrant attempt to cross the border and become American. The same thing as this 400 years.
This is something you didn't like.
And so the wall is a Confederate statue, and you're
Give it out there. I'll
You
take
don't
it.
want emotional.
So what you're basically
You want
doing
emotional from me?
is saying that one pro is kill pro, and one pro is just somebody.
Oh, it's not me, Tati.
What?
It's not me. It's one salmon seed.
So I know what I'll do. I'll just hitch my wagon to the American DOS movie. Everybody, I'm going to just wear this on. So what you have is that people who have just decided to
This wagon is mine.
That I want you to buy. Beautiful.
because it's not to say
You're my
it's not
servant.
to say this
What?
no,
I'm your servant.
and sustainably
Get out of here, queen. Whatever you are. Put your glove on. Put your robe back and go get your food.
Daddy, can I get some rice and milk? Please. Please.
You have to build your own wagon. You cannot have a wagon. We are still using our own wagon. Because we are still not become full citizens in this country. You cannot use that. Our story is not your story. And so I'm just trying to attack the Confederacy. That's what the people are control.
I have to milk.
James.
Daddy.
That built the country.
You remember this?
Your own computer.
She called
The what?
me.
Come here, let me
She
get it.
ain't called it.
I can bring that computer here.
Go tell your mom.
I want to
There
see.
is no bubble in which all of this happens.
Go tell my mama what?
And this is the story.
So what is Gina, bro?
It's not said, right?
The tree got the
America
charger,
built
bro.
walls still,
Huh?
water high
The charger, bro.
against the flow of chemicals.
But now it works, right?
Governor Clifford Walker at the 1924 convention
Not well.
of the Ku Klux Klan. These
I
are
can turn it on and stuff.
at a time of
The
strain,
keyboard's still
at a time of strain for the white working class. So like anytime somebody talks to the wall now, what you basically telling me, how the wall is white supremacy.
Excuse me.
Mommy, what?
Then the chicken, put this on you. No, shoot.
What you're telling me is that
Us?
No. Wait, you are no.
you call it for a wall.
Wait, ah! Get down. No, do not go.
That's what you're telling me.
Ow, stop your so hard.
That you can't create your own story and your own narrative.
I'm not
So when you
believing.
think of people all the time, they say,
Ow, mommy!
build your own. They got
Stop.
Is this your underwear?
Yes.
Go change it. Look at how tight it is.
Mommy, I like my underwear. Stop, mommy.
And it's just one
I don't know what my underwear is. I like to see.
The underwear is in there.
No, it's not.
Gigi, I'm not going to argue with you.
It's not in there.
One,
This is my country.
that's not your underwear.
And you have people on the left.
Three,
This is why I sort of distance myself from them. Because they're not serious. The people who are saying we
Let's
go!
Stupid.
You're saying that we are born in the country, then you are a joke.
I'm talking
And it's offensive. What's the meaning
Yes, you are stupid.
wait a minute, you sure that shit is your daddy?
We have fought to make ourselves
Don't tell
better.
no more, so it's mine now.
We built this country and then we fought. The whole thing in World War II. Go back and look at World War II and how African was fighting the Chinese to the Americans.
Gina did this. She put up the middle finger.
To become part of a global system, it was to be American and access what it means to be American. That's what it was for. That's what it was for.
Did
You know what?
When you consider how we've been uprising this country raising to the bottom path, we can't do like a
Mommy said, don't check
you hot.
if
You
you
hot
think
from brown to wet. So you was all about this baby.
So you was wrong. You was wrong. Always wrong. Never admitted it.
Irish to white. Everybody can hop, hop, hop. We haven't hopped anywhere and we came out nowhere. And we're still trying to access what it means to be American. We're still trying to access what it means to be American, and you're telling me that America ain't a country no more. That's what you're doing. You know, the Jim Crow's kind of popularity as a fictional character died out. But in the late 19th century, the phrase found new life as a blanket term for a wave of anti-black laws laid down after Reconstruction. Some of the most common laws included restrictions on voting rights. Many southern states required literacy tests or limited suffrage to those whose grandfathers had also had the right to vote. Bans on interracial relationships and clauses that allow businesses to separate their black and white clientele. That's what happened. Now, see, what you have to understand is that you're comparing us, a group who built this country, who built everything here, to a group who wants to come here and build nothing here. That's what you're comparing it to. That's what that tells you. So you should be offended by anybody saying anything about going Trump as a group.
Ow!
You should be offended by
What is that?
anybody talking about one Trump and saying that we just alike because we all brown.
Why you always trying to wear something tight? You can't feel it? Choking your legs?
Whatever the case may be.
Shut up.
You know,
No.
this is our
What's that?
history.
The money huddle. Go put.
There is no other group
No, go put it in you want.
that has this.
Stop putting that white shit on their hair.
I didn't put anything on your hair yesterday.
That has not had in history. And you have people.
Where's it at? I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm throwing that shit away. I don't give a damn about your edges. I'm about to throw that shit away. Let me see some more white cream on y'all head. I'm not, no. Where's it at? Go get it.
Leave her alone.
We have to take it even further
Is
than
that
we
beef
have
you
taken.
eating?
Yeah.
We have to take it further than we have taken it because
What's
people
wrong?
are playing games. People are playing a lot of games. What
Hey,
happened to us? And
go
then
change your underwear real quick. Come on.
Interview with Rossi.
What?
She described us as a contagion. I'm talking about American US.
What?
We used to be the thing
What?
that made the work.
What works?
We were working
This old Chromebook.
and when you
What?
this
old
these
Chromebook.
books that we're gonna have.
What you mean it works?
One of the things that
The
you see
keyboard's still
over
broken,
the
and I don't know what else is wrong with it.
Okay.
It still turns on.
Just keep the new one and you use the old one for now.
money and
No.
could be a force for your
Why?
What?
brain. And in Virginia, which is very important.
He don't have a Chromebook. He has a full computer.
Which one? The new one?
His is a computer. It's not a Chromebook.
Yeah, I said yeah. You can keep it till he start high school.
Go give us some more. Give us some more.
The battery's broken. The keyboard's broken.
So what are you talking about?
So what do
So
you
it's not
use
working.
it
What
for?
are you
To play
talking
games?
It turns on.
What do you use it for? To play
I
games?
don't use it. I just
No. The one with this box. Where did you buy this one? Gina, where did you buy it? Which store?
To claim a state in this country. That's what you're telling me. Let's go all the way back to it. I'll go all the way back to it. I can't use my lineage, but everybody else can. I want y'all to really think about what that is.
Come here.
My own lineage in this country.
Your legs, Gina.
I cannot use my own lineage in this country, but everybody else has been. Nothing for it. Still a bottom caste country. We used to be worth something, but then it got to the point to where now we didn't build wealth anymore because we weren't chattel slaves, so we didn't build wealth anymore. But when we got in your communities, we brought down the value of your home. We brought down the value of your community. So we went from building wealth to being something that destroyed wealth. That's what it meant to be a caste system. Now, you little white leftists who are over here talking about how we got to have open borders, you have benefited from your lineage